even though the guitars were recorded in that bathroom were fantastic. I think it's funny because the best record that come out of the bathroom was the best song anyway. It was Slate Man by Godflesh, you know.
Yeah.
That song is one of my favourite ever all-time Godflesh songs, and that was where the bathroom legend came from. You know, I recorded the guitars and my vocals for that song in the bathroom in the house we were living in at the time, and it's one of the best sounding guitar tones I ever committed to tape. Oddly enough, for me anyway. But so it says it all, really. You know.
Well, yeah, and it does, and just in terms of experimentation and what you've done, and really. You know, I just want to thank you for putting yourself out there and experimenting and, as you term, you know, failing over and over again to put forth the music that you have with GODFLESH Jesu and all your projects. I want to recognize the extraordinary contribution that you've made to the world of music.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm often humbled by, like you saying that, and, you know, and a lot of stuff I generally hear. I still find, you know, I still don't see myself in the equation sometimes. It's still really, really odd. Well,
you are in the equation.
Yeah.
You were the front and center of that equation. I mean, you know, really, there was when the first GODFLESH record came out, it first of all didn't sound like there were any, quote, mistakes. It really blindsided a whole section of people, like this new thing, like, oh my God. It didn't take you guys a couple albums to get to your stride, regardless of what you felt musically and your experimentation and that kind of thing. It was such a solid statement and really just blew away any standard that there was. And
those early GODFLESH records, I mean, the first GODFLESH album, and it's the self-titled, I guess you're referring to, not Street Cleaner.
You know, I think I heard Street Cleaner first.
Yeah, as did most people. Mm-hmm. I mean, those first two albums, they were recorded when we were so young as well. I mean, I was still a teenager, literally, when those records were recorded. So for me, it was just literally pushing. They were extremely instinctive records, you know, primal, atavistic almost. Do you know what I mean? They were just not even recognising anything but. Yeah. I could actually digress forever about those records, but yeah, I mean they were made, but they are a sum of what I'd done previously. I guess we arrived at that via, you know, my years with Napalm Death and Head of David, of course. And Head of David were my experience and time in Head of David was, you know, GODFLESH wouldn't have existed without that either. So it was a snowball thing, but we hit it quick with the sound. Yeah.
Yeah, it was groundbreaking's not even the word. What do you want people to know about you in closing?
You know, it's a shame, but even now, I've probably been saying this over 23, 24 years of doing interviews. I still am absolutely useless at closing comments.
Okay.
Really, absolutely useless. Yeah, I mean, besides expressing gratitude to every single person that even likes or buys my music, in this day and age, wow, mega gratitude for those who actually reach in their pocket and buy one of my records. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you see record sales these days next to the amount that actually take your music for free, and it's just like, wow, you know. There are 10 to 20 times more people taking your music for free than those who buy it, you know. It's crazy. True. Even those who take it for free, if they get something from it, then, you know, who am I to argue? Yeah, I do, you know, I mean, for me, that's all I can ever say, really, is I'm just absolutely grateful that I somehow have continued to have an audience for my music, you know.
We're there for you. And really looking forward to whatever the next thing is, and thank you for being there and for creating what you do, because I think in a lot of ways, because there's not that many lyrics, it's sort of like not a lot of your projects are really sing-along.
That's
you
right.
know, there's a whole lot of emotion that we're allowed to express ourselves through your listening to your music, and that's a huge part of the process. And, you know, I mean, you listen to a love song, and if it doesn't really fall exactly in step with what you're going through, you sing it, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
And your music is open in that way where it's obviously really emotional.
Yeah.
And it brings a lot of being able to get things out for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that is pretty much what I'm here to do. I do feel that, when by the time my music becomes public, then that it is for the public. Then it was for me first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
By the time it's released, it's for the world, and it's for the world to appropriate it to their own lives. And it is exactly that. That's why a lot of my stuff has been considered by many to be ambiguous. But I listen to music in the same way. We all interpret what we want from music. We take what we want individually. You know what I mean? And that for me is that's something I try to do. That is something I want to do. I want people to take what they want, and I'm not being dogmatic with lyrically or anything. It's emotional. Yeah, it's all in the music.
And that is completely understood. Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you.